Happy New Year and welcome to the 2025 market predictions for Auburn, Alabama. We're going to get into everything, so stay tuned. Auburn, Alabama area. I want you to make sure to go ahead. Hey everyone, Alex Acuff here with eXp Realty in the Acuff Weekly group. We serve the greater Auburn area. If this is your first time to our channel, welcome number one. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification because you probably found this page looking for real estate or you're looking to move to the Auburn, Opelika, surrounding areas. Anyways, we want to be the team. I know we haven't met in person yet or over Zoom, but our team last year sold 220 properties for about 73 million in volume. We operate with 10 agents and a full-time staff. So that's enough bragging on me, but I do want to make sure you do get a small piece of who you are meeting today. We get reach outs from people just like you every single day that are looking to make the move to the Auburn, Opelika, even over to Columbus, Georgia area, and we serve the greater area. So we're here to be the boots on the ground and help you make that transition as simple as possible. The first thing we do is we typically just hop on a quick 15-minute Zoom to get to know you, your goals, your needs, and then we jump right into it and go through the process of working with agents like us here in the area. Also, if you are looking to sell a home, if you found this video and you're saying, hey, we're actually thinking about selling our home and moving to the area, but we haven't put our home on the market or we really don't know what the value is, good news. Just go ahead and scan this QR code right here, and that will get you a quick home evaluation in seconds. We'll reach out to you, touch base about it, and make sure if you're not in our area, we'll connect you with one of our trusted agents in your area and get you connected. So let's jump right into the 2025 market predictions for Auburn, Alabama. So we're going to start with a current snapshot of the Auburn market and what we are seeing. So the data that we have today is from November of 2024. I'm recording this literally on New Year's Eve. So the data is super fresh from November of 2024. We look at the average home value of a home, a residential single family home in Auburn, Alabama. That's going to come in right at that $375,000 mark. Now that number, just for perspective, against November of 2023 is a little over 4% higher. So we have seen a good amount of appreciation when the overall broader market has not appreciated as well. I know in some markets it's definitely gone down a little bit, but we've seen Auburn just really hold strong as it traditionally has. Now, when we look at market activity, we're looking at the median sales price, which came in at about $420,000, which is not bad compared to previous years. It's a little lower on the appreciation side, which it's actually 1.7% actually higher than 2023 of November. So we have seen a steady rise, which we're very thankful for. Auburn has always held strong, especially having the anchor tenants like Auburn University. So we've stayed a lot stronger than most markets. Going up 1.7% might not sound like a whole lot to you, but bigger perspective wise, it shows that Auburn is very strong when it comes to appreciation. Now, the median days on market has moved a little bit. Last year, we were looking at about 34 days on market for a home. Today, we're looking more at that 49 to 60 day mark. It's actually at 49 for the median days, but I would say the average of what we're seeing with homes on the market, they're sitting for about 2 months. That's what you can expect. Now, the inventory levels for single family homes, we've definitely seen that rise over the previous year, and we've gotten all the way up to 278 homes. Now, that is a higher number for the Auburn. This is just strictly Auburn, not even Opelika. So Auburn has absolutely increased their volume a lot this year. Now let's jump into a little bit more of macroeconomics and where do we see the general real estate market across the United States? Because it's important to know, are we moving into more of a healthy market or is the market going to go down? Is it going to go up? But the best that we can do with the crystal ball that we have as agents is we rely a lot on the data. So when we look at the data, we want to go to sources that you're seeing as well. And you can go on sites like Zillow that will show you a lot of this information, which is where we source some of this, but we will talk about some of the national trends. Places like Zillow are actually forecasting exactly what most of them are saying in home value. We're going to see most likely that 2 to 3%, hopefully closer to the 3% appreciation for home values across the United States. So that is more of what we call the normal path of appreciation. In fact, if you go back decades and decades and you want to go year after year, you can typically see in the Auburn market an appreciation number right around that 3%, which is super healthy. Sales volume wise, we are expecting that to rise as well. 2024 has been a lot lower volume number for the general real estate market at about 4.1 million sales. So we're expecting to see that rise to about 4.3 million sales, which historically, you may say, Alex, that's pretty low, but when we look at the market, we want to know, where are we trending? Where are we going? And it's good to see positive predictions when it comes to the growth of home sales. And the last thing I want to touch on as far as across the United States and what we can predict, and as best as we can with mortgage rates. And I think that's something that's always the hot topic that we're always talking about, especially now with interest rates have doubled in the past couple of years. Right now, as of today, I think mortgage rates are floating right around 7%. But hopefully with the new presidency and some of the regulations, the deregulations that are coming around, as far as energy costs, we are hoping and we're planning to see hopefully that interest rate will float down to about 6%. That would keep us really at that normal, healthy market without causing too much excitement, because whenever we see interest rates dramatically drop, we see the bottom drop, then we see a ton of movement, which then drives appreciation like crazy and will end up probably crashing our market. So we definitely want to see an easing of the interest rates, but we don't want to see the bottom drop out for sure. So it's good to see that the predictions are coming in at around 6%. So we can fully expect and confidently sell homes looking at, the 3% appreciation with a 6% interest rate. I think you're moving in the right direction. Now you may say, okay, Alex, that's great to see the broader market. So where do you see the Auburn real estate market trending in 2025? Well, when it comes to home value predictions, you can pretty much bet and bank on Auburn real estate is most likely going to follow that national trend. They will probably see that 3% appreciation, and they'll stay pretty close to that. If anything, Auburn may be a little bit above, but it would not surprise me to see it almost what we call flatline is about a 3% appreciation. That's really the standard of what we're going to see with homes moving in Auburn. Now, when we look at the market dynamics, we're looking at population growth, we're looking at the economic indicators, and I'm attending planning meetings and the city meetings to hear what's going on in the city. And I can tell you from someone that is a professional here in the real estate industry, I can confidently tell you that there's a lot more jobs coming. There's a lot more development, especially on the commercial side, which is important because what we see across the state of Alabama is that there are a lot of dying markets when it comes to real estate. And the reason why is because they have no significant economic impact. They've basically died out, whether they were mills or they're not a real big hub for technology or industry, whereas we see the Auburn market really growing. Now, of course, we're super fortunate to have Auburn University, which is our biggest, what I like to call our anchor tenant for Auburn, Alabama, of course. But outside of that, we've also got Opelika. We've got new businesses coming. We've got new big manufacturing buildings being built in the commercial parks. So we're seeing a lot of movement. We've seen a lot of new retail, which is great. We're also seeing more opportunities for families. And, one thing that we lost during COVID was the opportunity to take your kids to like indoor gyms, something as simple as that. Well, what I'm hearing around town is that we are actually starting to see more of those pop up. So things such as like my gym, but we're going to see some alternatives to that. And there's going to be a lot more benefits and a lot more amenities coming to Auburn in 2025. And we've seen a couple new restaurants, some new national brands or regional brands coming to Auburn. So it's fantastic. It's good to put them in this environment and watch them grow. Now, inventory levels are strictly going to be dependent on buyers and sellers, right? So what do we see moving into 2025? Well, I can tell you based on 2024 is that there's a lot of pent up demand. We know that there's a lot of buyers that sat on the sidelines that were actually pretty smart and savvy with their money. And they looked at the market and go, okay, we're in the last year of an administration. We know there's going to be a presidential change. There was a lot of people with the interest rates that didn't have to move that have been waiting to see what's going to happen in the market. So what we're seeing is now those people are hopping on the phones with us, scheduling consultations. I mean, I can tell you right now with confidence in 2025, it's going to be an absolute gangbusters year selling real estate here in the Auburn market, which is great. But it does encourage us a lot when we talk to people and we're consulting with people just like you that are looking to move to the area. You're going to be dependent on the realtor that you meet with to help you understand the market and the dynamics and where am I going to go? Where is the path of progress? Where's the best investment, right? So we're not just helping helping families, we're also working with a lot of investors as well and parents of students. So we've got a very dynamic market. If you're not familiar with the Auburn market, it is very dynamic with condos for student housing to residential single family. And I like to tell people it's more of a bubble town compared to some of the outer ring areas in the county, because you'll see that the home values are dramatically different and higher in the Auburn-Opelika area versus the surrounding county. But yes, I say all that to tell you that there's a huge pent-up buyer demand, and with interest rates, if they do ease to 6%, I think we're gonna see a lot of unlocked inventory. We've had a lot of those people that moved during the pandemic that are now settled down with their 3%. I think they're a lot more encouraged seeing the interest rate move to 6. I like to look at the market. I think we're at the new bottom. I don't think we're ever gonna really see a 3% interest rate anytime soon. So if you're looking to move and you need to move, I think now is a great time to make that move. So reach out to us, we'll schedule a consultation and get you moving in the right path. And just to touch a little bit more on the development side, there are several new developments coming to Auburn that are all new construction, wonderful homes, wonderful builders, local builders. And so if you want more information on some of those developments, and they do involve some commercial, we'd love for you to reach out to us, because we are getting the insider information with the builders and the agents and really learning where they're building and where we see the market going in 2025. Whether you're high end or you're entry level, there is opportunity for everyone moving to the Auburn area. So just make sure to ask us about that, and we'll get you some of that information. So let's talk a little bit about what you as a buyer and a seller should be considering if you are looking to make the move in 2025. Let's start with buyers. So you're probably wondering, how do I navigate the volatility of interest rates in this real estate market? Well, there's a couple ways that we like to hedge that bet with you, especially it being a colder month. These are the months that I typically recommend a lot of my clients. If you're looking to buy and move into a new home, this is the time to do it. Number one, it's going to put you moving in a warmer month, which makes moving a lot easier. Number two, we typically see builders start to raise their prices moving into the spring. So if you put something under contract now in January, you don't have to lock in a mortgage rate, which is great because you're only going to do that about 90, 60 days out from closing, but you will capture a price that is going to make sense for you moving forward. And let me tell you a little bit more about that, and I'll give you an example. So at the beginning of 2024, I put a new construction townhome under contract at about $270,000. Now, after upgrades, our price ended up about $282,000. And then by the time we closed it 6 months later, we actually were walking into over $30,000 in equity, because that same condo was on the market, advertised for sale and going under contract at a much higher price. So I have always been a big fan, speaking from experience, even with the homes that I live in, whether it's an investment or your primary residence. I still think putting something under contract in a colder month is always going to get you the best net gain when it comes to appreciation right off the bat and how much equity you have, right? So that's what we want to capture, and that's why you're probably watching this video. It's how you found me. So get in touch with us. We'll talk a little bit more about those strategies. Now, let me talk directly to my sellers who may be living in the Auburn-Opelika area, but this really applies for anyone across the country if you're looking to make the move and you need to sell your home. Number one is pricing. Now, we look at homes and we look at, what's their location, what's their condition, and what's the price. So the only thing that we can really control is we can't pick your home up and move it. You as a homeowner can improve the condition, or we can bring in contractors, but ultimately what we can help you move the most and makes the most sense is typically the pricing of the home. So you have seen moderate appreciation in 2024. Now you have to think moving forward, what does that appreciation look like when it comes to pricing my home? And so I say all this with a cautionary tale to just be careful about overpricing your home, thinking that you're going to get it moving into a warmer month, whether that's in the spring. I would say that I'm suggesting to my sellers to be a little bit more on the aggressive side. Now, that doesn't mean underprice your property. What that does mean is that I encourage you to listen to our pricing strategy and let us assist you in making that decision on how you want to price your property in the market that's going to attract the most buyers, that's not only going to yield you the highest price and the net price, but it's also going to get you the best terms and conditions on that contract. Because ultimately, what good is getting full price if the buyer is asking you to pay down their rate, pay for closing costs, do a bunch of repairs, and at the end of the day, you end up netting less money? So being a little bit more conscientious and aware of that pricing strategy goes a long way. It doesn't just play into the top line number. It plays significantly into what your bottom line is going to be and how much negotiation power that you will have as a seller. And you heard me touch about condition. This is really my last point for sellers, is that over 2024, we have seen a huge rise in the awareness from buyers that are looking to get into homes that are in better condition. Now, in previous years, in pandemic years, we've seen homes in not as good a condition still go for significantly higher or at market price. That's because when the buyer had a 3% interest rate, they had a bunch of leftover money that they could spend on renovations or updates. Now, all that cost is now eaten up in an interest rate that's somewhere between 6 and 7%. So we have to be aware of that and say, what's our presentation? What's going to attract the best buyer? If you want some suggestions on some of the small things that you can do that are low cost and high yield return, so if you can spend $1 and make $5, wouldn't that make sense to you? And that's the same thing when you hire a great realtor that's going to sell your home. Now, when we talk about selling homes and our marketing and our plan to help you sell your home for the most amount of money, we want you to understand when you hire the Acuff Weekley group to sell your home, for every $1 that you spend on us, we are going to yield you back $5. That is our goal. That is our plan. We're happy to show you that on paper and make that work for you. Now, once again, if you missed the QR code in the beginning, make sure you can just scan the QR code right here on the screen, and that will get you a home value on your home in seconds. We'll touch base. Now, it is automated a little bit, and we can modify it, but the best way to do that is just let us get in touch with you, and we'll come out, take a look at your property, give you a really detailed value on your property so you can then make your plans to move forward. So in today's video, we did cover a little bit about the market predictions for 2025, really as best as we can going into the new year. And Happy New Year to you. You made it, right? We made it through the holidays. And we've talked a little bit about the 2025 greater market and what the experts are telling us is going to happen from the US market side. So, and we wanted to detail that into Auburn and kind of tell you, I think we're going to trend along the same lines. I don't think we're going to be under what the US market is going to be doing. I think we will be a little bit above it. And that's traditionally where we have floated if you go and look at our market. So make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as hit the bell notification. If you have any questions, please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from maybe a video that you would like to see from us in 2025. We would love to assist you. And make sure to just reach out to us, schedule a 15-minute Zoom call. We can learn more about you and what you guys got going on and how we can help you best. And we will end up seeing you guys on the next video.